All right, and we are live right now. Hello, everybody out there. Say hi, Sonia.
Hi, Sonia.
There you
Hi,
go.
everybody out there. Simple tips and tricks. Tips and
Tips
tricks.
and tricks. This is part number 4.
Yes.
Yep, and this is really exciting because we just keep going with it. We just said, hey, let's just keep doing this. And people are having a lot of fun with it and asking some really good questions. So we're really kind of super excited about that.
Yeah.
And today is going to be all about Instagram.
Instagram.
So, right, you got some questions, right, about Instagram, and that seems like that was the consensus, right? That was the big one that people wanted to learn about today.
Well, a couple of our topics led into this for sure. So, grid we talked about last time, and the look of your grid and how things are changing to be kind of just a little bit more organic and real, which is nice because it was like America's Next Top Model
Yeah.
on Instagram for a minute. And then, we talked a little bit about stories and ads, and stories just keeps popping up. And when I comb through some of the folks who are watching and tuning in, it's something that we can improve on because there's just so much room there. And that leads into your story highlights, of course. And then you brought up, so then we put it out there and we had a couple people say, I just want to learn how to interact better. Okay, we can do that. Yay. And then somebody brought up contests between businesses and interaction and cross promotion. So we're doing that as our bonus topic. And then you, sir, had a fantastic one from someone who we bring up and talk about often is Mr. Gary V.
Yep.
And that's his $1.80. And I'm just going to let David go crazy with that one. So...
Yep. So we're gonna jump off. I think I put something on a little bit too early there for a second, but you know what? That's okay. So let's start off with our first topic, which is going to be lead us in the way. Which is the first one you want to talk about today?
Oh, so today the first one is the grid, the Instagram grid. So we're going back. We're starting with before we go into stories. We're now here on this platform. What's it supposed to look like? How do I do that, Dave?
Well, so here's the thing with the grid, right? So in case if you don't know what we're talking about, is basically on your profile page, right? You have all your photos on there, right? Pretty standard. That's pretty much what everyone usually has. But what Sonia's talking about is making your grid nice and planned out and fancy. Extra fancy and nice and planned out. So I don't know if you've ever seen those before of some people that actually take the time to actually plan out what their grid is going to look like. It's something that's really cool. And it's something that if you do it right, when someone lands on your page for the first time, it's almost like an experience, right? You see all this stuff here, so it's something that's really cool. And especially if you're something that's like in the design space or in the like a lot of you are in the maker space, having that kind of eye candy right when you land on your page and it's nice and organized shows that one, that you definitely know what you're doing. Two, you have an eye for design, especially if that's something that you're selling, and it kind of makes them be like, whoa, wait a minute, I kind of want to scroll through here. So I could never do it. It's not in my DNA. I don't think I could do it. It's too meticulous. I'm like, there's no way.
3 really good samples, and one is my person I followed the longest, which is J-Lo, because J-Lo stays on top of the trends, y'all.
She's on top of it. I mean, there's a reason why she's been around for, I don't even know how long that is now.
I did.
It's
Listen,
forever. And she looks like she's 25. So
in person. So
yeah,
she stays on with the trends. I'm going to put those links in the comments. I'm not really sure how to share that with you guys. But if the second one was later, which I use that as an example because if you go there and check out their Instagram grid, they have so many learnings that you can watch on how to make Instagram amazing, because what they are is a auto poster. And they mainly focus on Instagram and Instagram stories. It's something that we've used for a long time. And then we went over to the Creator Studio on Facebook because it looks so tempting. but for us, later really had the details that we were looking for and allows you to help you with your grid.
Yeah. It's perfect,
Yeah,
right? Did you want to jump into one of the pages? Like, do you want to pull up the later page? Do you want to show them what you're talking about?
that'd be awesome if we can
Okay.
do that.
All right. So let's do that. So let's.
Hello, everybody. While David's pulling that up, we have Kathy here, Terry, Tampa Bay Contest. Who else is here? Kevin, Drew. Hello, everybody. We
We
have
have a
20 up
lot.
here.
Yeah.
While we're pulling this up and we're going to go right into it, if you guys want to tag your businesses in the comments so we can all support each other, that would be fantastico, of course. And this is Later's page. This is what it looks like on the grid when you Google or you search somebody in the search bar. As you see, they have a really nice description there. Their brand, their logo pops right up, and then you see all of their highlights. And they have created a piece of graphic art to put on top, which you can do in Canva or any other art space. You don't have to do that. Theirs is very colorful and playful. The only thing they stick to, it seems like, is a very pastel color palette and the words down the middle.
But you see, you know what I love about this too is just like the color. Like this just pops off the page when you look at it. Like it's so colorful. Even as I scroll down here, and you'll see it in a second, just scrolling down their regular feed, everything is just so colorful. It's so eye catching. You could definitely tell, like Sonia said, they definitely have a color scheme that they're sticking with, and that's what they're really staying with, those kind of colors. And as you see, it keeps going down. It's just so interesting. Like this was a really good find on your part. This is great. I've never seen this page before, but they did a wonderful job here.
I enjoy their page so. So I always, like I say, samples, guys, samples of just fun things. Instagram has always been a bit of a mystery for me, so I'm starting to now look at it as a way that I can reflect my personality instead of the pressure of making it look so cosmetic at times.
Yep.
And theirs has tons of learnings. Those highlights up there teach you how to do stuff because they're they're an auto poster, so they want you to be engaged with their content, of course.
Oh yeah, no, of course, yeah. I mean, but that's exactly, you kind of curiosity is kind of just kick in, just because you want to see what they're doing, why everything's all set up, and again, maybe the word is meticulous. Maybe that's the word. It's all planned out, and I also like to be a realist. That's why I say I personally couldn't do it. One, just because for my business, it probably doesn't really make sense. But two, like I don't think I could meticulously plan out everything. That's just my personality. Like, but I love this though. If I could do this, I would. If I could actually sit my butt down and actually sit here and plan out like what everything is going to look like, I would. I just love to, like, I'm all video and kind of just all over the place, but this is fantastic. This is something, and again, I can't stress enough, when you're in that maker space or you're a creative, like, this is a no-brainer, and it takes like, maybe like an hour or two to kind of set it up, and then you just continue with that trend.
And topic number 2, we're going to talk about how you hang these stories, these collections, or you want to call them, across the top. So we are going to definitely get there if anybody has questions towards that next. And then our second sample we have is Badass Bubbles and Things. Ms. Lori.
There you go.
Her patient self creating this grid, girl, is you were meticulous. You can definitely see it when we get it pulled up there. Her sayings are all in the middle, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And pictures are on the sides. She just has it listed as highlights there. And that's okay too if you're changing those out on such a regular basis because you have a lot of product. As long as your followers know what you're throwing at them, it's great. And hers is, definitely adds that pop of color every once in a while, which is cool.
I love the free use of the F word. I think that's my favorite thing.
Yes. She said last time she likes weird peeps, or the weird peeps like her. And as you see, she really has a specific look she goes for there. Yeah, which is cool.
I love it. And again, it's very much to the brand, right? So this is the brand. Yes. that she wants to have and convey, and it fits perfectly. And when we talk about the grid, it may not feel like, it may seem weird at first, but I'm going to pull this view right here. So you could see that everything's planned out in the sense that you have a graphic, a photo, like a little word graphic, a photo, a graphic, a photo. You see the trend, guys? This is what we're talking about when you're talking about setting up a grid. If you want to do this for your page, like this way, she knows that. All right, I did a graphic this one, the next one's going to be a photo and everything kind of fits all together, which is great. I personally like, there's a middle finger heart and then a regular heart. Like, like I love it.
Yeah, for full inclusion love.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I think this is great. I cannot tell you enough that I love this so much. And I would just tell her too that when Sonia was telling me about this and she's showing me one of your samples and I was trying to explain to my wife, what we're doing with this and everything, I said, like, yeah, there's people that make stuff like this, and it was a necklace that just said the F word on it. And she's like, oh, I'd buy that. I'm like, yeah, see, that's what we're trying to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, we want to show everyone this cool stuff that's out here. So this is another great maker here. So this is great. This is another great example of using that grid to your advantage. And it's just like, again, if someone lands on this page, I mean, you cannot but just stop and scroll through.
And that's the purpose, is to make you scroll. And she has like this really cool grid that you just want to keep going through. I fell into a bubble hole when I was looking at it. Same thing with laters, because I want to keep scrolling down the middle to see what their message is down the middle of their page. And it can be just something as simple as that. And then we have our last sample, which is Miss Diva Ageless J-Lo. She keeps on the edge. I used her as an example because she has a TikTok highlight.
Yeah, look at that. Man, she really is on top of everything.
Yes. I mean, J-Lo's got the peeps. Unlike us, we still, we're getting a squad. We're a part of your squad. But so she's got her little TikTok channel there. She's very polished, and she updates on a regular basis. She often does her throwbacks, just typically on the same, side, on the left-hand side, and family. But you can definitely tell that she covers like 3 topics: what she's doing now, what she did then, and her family.
Yep.
And, so that's something cool too, to be able to identify as what maybe 3 topics should I stick to make it a little easier on myself.
I'm sorry, I'm just scrolling. I'm just admiring.
Stuck, right? 119 million followers.
Yeah. But and that's the thing too. That's this just shows. I mean, her and obviously her team, right, who helps with this, understands that the brand is important, and to keep that going even on Instagram. Even a little thing like the icons for the story highlights, right? That's like such a small little detail, but it fits into that brand that she has. And the fact that she or her team or whoever had the foresight to highlight TikTok on top of that through another platform to start driving traffic there, I think is fantastic. That's just forward thinking, and that's just, again, that's something we keep talking about, using these platforms to your advantage. Whichever one you're on, it doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of using it to your advantage. So if you're trying to promote a different page, how can you use an Instagram or Facebook to promote your TikTok or your Snapchat? Like, it's always commingling with them. So I think that's a great job right there.
Bi-weekly. Hey, come follow me over on the gram. I drop way more interesting shit there. I'm just saying, but however you want to do it, because we heard as a kind of rebuttal to post keeping these platforms going, they'll admit that, Facebook isn't all there for me, but you still have a following there. So transferring them over to Instagram and making that transfer again over to TikTok possibly would be, really smart. And I use these pages, one as a local maker who does an amazing job, and then the other 2 just to show auctions. You always have, I like to just use big auctions and samples for things, just to see what's out there and what I kind of want to strive to have things look like, or even just an idea. ideas.
Yeah, that's great. I'm pulling up. Some people are pulling up their Instagram. So you know what? I'm trying to get fancy and pull up stuff live here.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, hold on. It's been a long
I'm
day.
reading the comments, guys, and our next topic after this, but Dave's got something good, is like stories and the connection and the so.
Well, you know what? Tampa Bay Contest is pulling up their Instagram. So you know what? Let's pull it up. Maybe we could do a little live kind of thing of what we can do here. Are you down for that, Sonia?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let me pull it up. I know it's going to take you a second to get to it. Hold on one second. All right, let's see.
Oh, we got Wendy at Tangle Angle who wants to do a pull up too.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so we have. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get interesting for a second. Let's go a little bit off the path here.
Yeah, really helping people.
Yeah,
right
let's go through and let's have some ideas for this page, right? So it's Tampa Bay Contest. Sonia, do you see it on your stream?
I'm looking to write it. Yep, I got it on live. So
okay, perfect. So we have good photo, good everything. You feel like more could be here in the area with some of the things that they could do there in the info where the website is?
Yes. I would add a couple elements, emojis in there, something fun, and I would often change that up, maybe even a what's coming up next. So always have people coming back. That's something that I learned on a lot of other people is they just had a one-liner. And then I would notice that people are updating that one-liner. And then the fun emoji. So on my personal one is YOLO, Florida girl, so I attract Floridians.
Yep, there you go. That's perfect.
And then, that big gap in between, of course, the grid and the top there, we had one highlight. It looks like it was started.
Yep.
There's so much room to grow. That's your growth space.
Yeah.
That's what I look at.
Yep. And exactly. So that would be kind of going through, right? And do you want to kind of explain to everyone what they do? So then that way we give them a little context.
Yes, the stories and the collections themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes right into our second one. And so right on this page, next to her first story and highlight, there's going to be a button you can hit add. And that is how you're going to create your first storyline, is what I like to call them. Because if you're launching a product, or if you have an advertiser who has paid you to advertise these free tickets, then that blueberry festival, since it's blueberry season, should be on one of your story highlights. And then maybe it's just the ticket giveaway, but then you can drop a band for them and you can really customize that story highlight for your advertiser. Or if it's a product specific, Lori with your baubles, I use that as an example since we had her up before this. You should have a whole fuck series.
Yep.
My fuck series, and you can even call it that. I'm sorry, I hope we don't have any kids watching, but that's just an idea since they go so hard for that specific product. No pun intended. So that's what I'm thinking on those two.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna pull up one comment here. So from Tampa Bay comments. So I know that's something that you gotta get a little creative around. She's saying no one is having contests right now. So. Right, and that's kind of the whole thing about the page. So, but there's things that you could do even if you had in your highlights. Now, I didn't dive into those highlights, but even if you have old ones, you could still put them to separate ones. So this would be a good time to kind of go through those highlights that you have. What happened?
An idea, but I'm gonna let you finish
first.
Oh,
okay. I thought something happened. So you go through those highlights that you have now and figure out how you could separate out and make new ones. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just take the ones that's all of them and then kind of make them all separated in. Go ahead with the idea.
Now is the time to carve out who you are on this page. Show your bio. I don't know if you want to be in front of the camera or you don't want to be in front of the camera, but if you're not, then it's very important to always share your message. What does Tampa Bay Contest do besides the sentence that's on the top of your page? You could be doing that right now so people get to know who TBC is and really brand that past just the contest. And you can highlight people who have done contests in the past to encourage that comeback because you're still getting them business in this off season. It shows that you cares and that, or you care and you really want to make that connection. Those are a couple suggestions I was thinking.
I like it. I think it's great. And I'm going to pull up, that graphic just so you guys know exactly what we were just talking about how you could make a highlight from your past stories. So
Yeah.
let me pull that in. Okay, so it's on the screen now.
And maybe we'll challenge David to use Tangle Angle as a sample.
I will try my best.
Everything you have, David.
I'm struggling today. So this is an example. When you go to make a new highlight, wait a minute. There it is. So it's going to pull all your old stories that you have, and then you'll be able to choose what you want to be in that highlight. So you could go back and look at your past stories, right, from historically, and then you can make your highlight from there. So I just wanted to show when you do that, that's the view that you're gonna get.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna pull that down now. There we go. It's taking a lot of brain power, this one. I have stuff all over the place.
These ups and downs, I get it. And just to keep everybody on the same page, we're talking about stories and creating storylines or story highlights, you would say. And we're just going a little bit further into that with samples of people's pages who are on here. And we are now maybe pulling up the Tangled Angle page so we can take a look at what she's doing.
Yep. Oh,
which I love this. And we were like really making David work for it.
I think I got it. I got it. There it is.
Awesome.
All right. So it's going to be on your live stream in a second. But as you can see here, yep. Oh, she has some highlights here. She has props, new designs, events. That's perfect.
She's grown. She's made some changes. She only had 2 on there with the last time I had looked, so she's already added another one. She started doing her Motivational Monday, as you see, and it's got like a style now to it. And her page is lighter. It's white, but she's home decor. So you want to think clean, white, modern, and it kind of gives that look to it. So
yeah, and I've seen this stuff, guys, in person, and it's so cool. I went to go take some photos that day. I forget which market it was, but I was like, these are so cool. Like I would buy one of these in a heartbeat.
The Chic Decor Market and Safety Harbor.
Yes, yep, that's what it was. Yep. Yeah, they're really cool. Very, very cool stuff here. Yeah, I love the look here. I love it. I love the whites and the browns. I think that fits like really nice. It fits the brand. It's like perfect since a lot of the stuff is on wood, right?
Right.
I think it looks great. Yeah.
Where can we improve here? Bio. You got to start rolling in what Tangled Angle is possibly. You could do here. You have some space there. For sure.
Yep.
And increasing your stories, which I'm sure you have a ton of old content that you can rehash for that as well.
Yeah, and you could probably expand on these highlights. I was looking at some of the other stuff you have here. You could probably separate it even by a little bit more different products if you can. Wendy, I know it is time consuming. And I know when you're busy, it's hard to do all this. But when you have some free time, think about maybe if you could separate some of if any of these pieces can be kind of lumped together in different kinds of, I don't know if it's subject or topic or kind of
enthusiasts or
yeah.
Camera, the moose, and then you also have family. I've seen the mom and the dad and the over the moon and some things about love.
Yep.
So
and definitely, you know what? Like when it's another, it could be another one. And I'm gonna pull this down for a second. I'm gonna pull us back up. But Another thing could definitely be, especially not even just for her, because I think it worked for her, no problem, is for a lot of makers, is when it's holiday season, you need a highlight for your gift ideas for that holiday. So
Oh, for sure.
Mother's Day, Christmas, Father's Day, anything that there's gifts being done, that could be a really easy highlight that you could do. And that's like, hey guys, I made a collection of our best Mother's Day's gifts. Check out the highlight in my Instagram profile. And you can put that on your Facebook too.
Absolutely. We're pushing out Mother's Day like items on the Simply Support Local as our main priority. We're trying to, anyways, get them out this week so we can get them in people's hands by Mother's Day. And then, of course, there's a couple key things we talked about with the pandemic. You know, if you can create stuff that supports first responders in any kind of way, it's just a great thing, as well as it's a target topic right now. Like Tiger King.
It's like Tiger King. God, I love Tiger King still.
So I guess with stories and connections, before we go on to Gary V, if anybody has any questions about stories, connections, highlights, let us know before we move on. So I learned today that Tiger King is a trending thing in stories, that you can like remake this video of, I guess it was Joe Exotic who had this song, or Carol Baskin, and it's like a trending topic. So if anybody wants to get crazy, there you go. And then there was also one for TikTok. I think it's like I'm Happy at Home challenge. So there are two virtual videos you can play with on your two platforms if you have them to get involved with a trending topic, which is also something you can do for your stories.
Love it. So do you want to go in then, continue on with the other strategy?
Yeah, let's do it. This is all you. I'm going to let you go crazy on it.
Let's go. So what I'll do is, and we'll figure out, I could share the link in here because it's probably better. So let me pull up this page. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Gary V, one, you probably should. But two, a lot of times he does kind of repeat the same thing. But when this strategy came out, I thought it was fantastic. I thought this was so easy to follow along. And what he calls it is the $80 Instagram strategy to grow your business. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to link it in the comments below here. See if
I'm also dropping the other samples there for peeps.
So that's the link. You could go ahead and you can go through and read it. But basically the idea is, in order to grow your following, right, you need to be able to engage with your similar audience, right? So what you're going to do is, and I'm going to pull ourselves back up here. So the $80 goes like this. You're going to drop your 2 cents, right, on the top 9 posts of the top 10 pages that are related to your business or your space, right? And if I did my math right, that equals $80. And what is the point of doing that? And you do this every day. The point is, Instagram is still, and just like any other platform, they're still social at heart, right? So if you can actually go and engage with more people, and people that are similar to maybe like your followers or your other customers, you want to do that as much as possible. So the idea is you're going to find people that are in that similar space, whether they're a maker, whether they're an influencer, anyone that you think, or someone that you actually follow. And what you're going to do is you're going to drop a comment on one of their photos, anything that you feel like is relevant to you, right? Especially if it's hashtags that are similar to hashtags maybe you're using. The idea is you continually do this and drop value. Don't drop like a thumb emoji and you get out. That's not going to do it. You want to actually drop some value. Yeah. Words. Sentences. Sentence. Drop that in there, and something of value. Something like, hey, I really like the way you did this. I think it was really great. Done. You keep doing this on all these pages, and what you're going to notice is people actually do go through the comments, and they're going to see that if you have a really nice comment in there that's not like basically a garbage comment like most of them are on there anyway, they're going to start to pick, oh, who's this, right? Who's this? They see your page. Maybe it's like, maybe it's like other makers or people that are into that, right? Maybe they see Tangled Angle commenting on stuff. Oh, I really like this. I use this kind of stuff for mine, That's really great. What do you think of this? And the idea is you keep doing this, and over time, naturally, you're going to start to get more people go to your page and more followers because, again, we're looking for pages and hashtags and influencers or businesses that are very similar to yours. So the
Guess who is looking for business like crazy right now because they lost almost 75% of their content. These foodie bloggers, they're aching for someone to cover, to support local. I would start reaching out to them, but how do you do that? You got to court them, right? You just don't want to go in for the kiss. So
Yeah, no, don't go in. I just took my camera away because I was chasing. Don't go for the kiss. No. We have to be very polite here. Okay, buy them some dinner, some flowers, and be nice. I'm gonna.
likes on, and then how do you transfer that even further? So you make your comment, and then I go on there like a little stalker. I don't know if anybody else does this, and I see other comments that might be like it, and then I see there's people's followers and even other influencers that are supporting them. So now I'm going in and I'm liking the other influencers that are on Baby. That's a great one. There's like 6 of them that have this internal circle that support each other. So at time I try to get in that little wave, and I did get them all to follow my page. And if I comment, they'll comment back, usually after about the 3rd comment. This year, I finally asked her if she wanted to be our burger judge, and she wasn't available, but she responded in Messenger and said she would next time. So that's not going in for the kiss. I slowly stalked just a little bit, and I got them on the hook. But we have, 8 influencers that we kind of circle through for different reasons. Yeah. And that's all kind of what Dave is talking about here.
And in case you're wondering, does it work? I'm going to throw up Lori's comment. She says, I just started going through hashtags that I use and follow and add a comment on the post, and I started grabbing a few followers, right? So there's proof that, again, we're not talking about that you're going to get 1 million followers overnight, but you will gradually start to see an increase in your followers, and it's people that are going to be related to your business or potential future customers, right? So anytime you get followers, right, you have to think of it as not only, it's nice to have 50 million followers, but it's nice to have even 1,000 followers, but it's potential customers that are going to be really buying your stuff, right? As much as everyone loves to have 2 tons of followers, unless you're trying to become an influencer, what we're trying to do is run a business and sell. So I would rather have 500 people that buy my stuff than have 50,000 that a very small percentage don't, right? That's just me. So that just shows you're finding, Lori, if you keep that up and you keep going, you're going to start to see you're going to get followers, and it's probably going to be the right kind of followers that are going to be on there. And plus, too, the other advantage is you get to scout out what these top people are doing, right? Maybe you start to see, wow, look at that. They did this. Oh, that's something. Oh, I could do something like that. Oh, maybe I should try this. Maybe this post. Oh, look at this post. This post is really doing well. So now we're doing that homework that we've talked about now for 4 weeks of like going through and understanding the platform. Now you're going to start to understand what people react to, because if you're seeing these top comments, top hashtags all through Instagram, you're going to start to see a trend of what works with people. So that's something that you can start putting into your own content and start to use it on your own.
What's she saying?
Here we go. So she just said, one recently hopped on my Etsy and bought $100 worth of stuff. That's
what. Give you the snap, girl. Hey, girl. Hey.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And then Tampa Bay contest said all of her followers are local, and that's exactly. I mean, it shows.
That's what you want. Yeah, that's what you want, right? You don't want someone for a Tampa Bay contest in Massachusetts. I mean, you could, but. You definitely want to be that local page. So that's fantastic that you want to make sure that you're getting the right audience. So that's great. If yours are local and that's what you're trying to get, that's perfect. So now, how can you capitalize on that, right? Find a page that's similar to yours. How can you start engaging with them, providing some sort of value or just engaging, right? No sale, no like trying to promote yourself, just enjoying. But like, I think like Tampa Bay Contest is such a cool name that people are gonna be like, whoa. What is this? Who's this? What's on there? Yeah. And then they're going to see your page. So it's just natural. It's going to be a natural thing. So that's the idea behind there. If you have time, check out that link that we just dropped in there for the whole thing. But that's like the very condensed version, right? So 2 cents on the top 9 of the top 10. There's your, and you do that every day. That shouldn't take you more than like, I don't know, 15 minutes, maybe 20 at tops. Like if that,
So
it's super easy.
Instagram, since I'm spending more time on it, its little stalker self likes to send me, you spent 22 minutes on Instagram yesterday on average. Or not like, I don't think it does it daily, but it maybe do it for the week. It tells me how long I've spent on Instagram. And I was like, wow, if I'm trying to improve my Instagram, I maybe want to get that average up more than 22 minutes a day.
Yeah, this is the only time that on your screen, on your screen time app, if you have Apple, that your social network should be higher, and you won't get in trouble because you're doing homework. That's what I tell my wife at least. And she's like, "How much you spend on that?" I'm like, "I'm doing homework. I don't know what you're talking about. This is for work."
To elaborate on this just a bit, because I think this is like a great subject. If you want to be social, you have to get social, is what I heard. And I should follow lots of other people in my industry, and I should see popular hashtags in my industry as well. And then I should also be kind of paying attention to the influencers who can kind of sway in my direction, maybe push a product to them every once in a while. I've started getting emails from people asking to wear their leggings at events. I mean, we have no events, but I'm ready whenever they come back. So, but that it just expands on that a little bit more, because really we're also wanting a little press out of it. And there are so many influencers right now on Instagram looking for things to talk about. I actually had media reach out to me about covering Simply Support Local. That never happens. I'm always harassing the media.
Yeah, it's a nice change.
Yeah, it was nice.
So I think this was something. I think this is something we're going to mention. I think Lori just brought it up, right? So she was just having a combo there. But since a lot of vendors do contests to add followers, and you can start to connect with them until things change. That's great. I think that's a great idea to connect. And contests were something that we were going to talk about, because not only could you connect with them and do it, but even if we were going to kind of talk about contests in general, things that you could do. I've had I've had clients run contests, and we were going to run an ad, like paid ad, and we're like, let's do a contest, and then we'll put some money behind it to really get it out there. And I've had it sometimes that we didn't even really have to spend that much money, because the contest itself just blew up. Like it reached like 20, 30,000 people on its own organically from doing a contest, and it's giving something for free, right? So if that item doesn't really cost that much in your cost, it's definitely worth it, because your reach that you're going to get from it is going to be fantastic. But it has to be something that's like tangible, right? Something that has some good value. Maybe it's one of your best products, something like that. But they used to do contests like as easy as, hey, tag 2 friends in the comments and share the post, right? If they do it on Facebook or on Instagram, just tag this post, send it to 2 friends, and you're entered. So that's it. It doesn't really cost anything, right? And you can start getting in front of a lot of different people, and they're probably going to be similar to your followers, because your followers are going to share it with people that they know would appreciate it.
Exactly. And you're 100% right. That's why we're starting Simply Support Local, is because there's very little connection to like the local artists besides just events, like someone out there pushing it. So if you're having these contests, it makes sense. The artisan are doing it anyways. And every contest we've had, guess who loves free stuff? Influencers. So it wasn't very hard. We have a sample post from Instagram. Maybe. Dave gave me the look.
Hold on, I wasn't ready. Which one do you want to pull up?
The burger post.
Oh yeah, I got it. Hold on.
From Giggle Waters. So this was a contest we did with Giggle Waters and Safety Harbor and Forking Around Town, which is a food blogger. And they all did the contest on their pages. This is the one from our page. So it's like a branded post. 28 comments just on our page, 48 likes. I put a boost on it, so I know it did more after that. But the Forking Around Town and the Giggles Waters post both had the same. So we've reached a collective of who knows how many people, skipped over it. But with 28 comments in just 2 days, I think it did what it needed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And just remember, guys, on the grand scheme of stuff, like it may not seem like that much because I know we're like all like numbers hungry for everything, but that on a local level is great, especially if you're just trying to get some sort of engagement. Because the other thing that you may not take into consideration is what's the proper term? But basically, it's almost like a dark post or dark sharing. What that means is obviously people commenting are public, right? But let's say, and I'm sure everyone here has done it, let's say you see a cool post and you share it with a friend in Instagram or in Facebook, right? Like as a message. You don't see that. You don't get numbers for that, but it's happening in the background, whether you know it or not.
Oh,
Yep.
and one of our most engaged posts we've ever had was this simple bar of soap from Jade Soap Company for a chic decor market. And just because we played back and forth with each other, sending it to our messages, adding it to our collections, that little ribbon looking thing, we just got so much playback. In between it, we got like 100 and something likes, and that was the most either of us had ever gotten, and that was just from us accidentally being on Instagram at the same time and really planning, or not even planning, just playing back with each other, sending it through message, saving the post. That's another thing you can do for people to, if you want to follow somebody because you like them, save it. And they'll keep popping up on your news feed. But they also get those notifications just like you do every time you look at your notifications on your business page, or it sends it to you in Messenger, right? Instagram message. Hey, so-and-so sent you something.
Yes. Sorry, I'm trying to fix something. And Kathy, yes, I do know I'm getting that. For some reason, I'm getting a lot of reverb today. My program's acting a little funny, so I'm trying to fix it in between scenes, but I can't seem to get it down right. It's
Up on us.
always
Stinker.
yeah, always fun. Technology when it doesn't want to work, especially live. But we'll get it fixed. We'll try to do our best here, make sure it's not nothing too bad here. So let me go back. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just trying to fix that in the background. All right. Yeah, we'll get it set. But so where do we want to move on from here?
So really, we're ready for if there's any kind of questions specifically on that. If you have something on your Instagram page that you guys wanted to talk about. But contests, they work 100%. A lot of people said, how can I do something without spending money? This is a great way for you to do so. Now, if you don't have the following yourself, then pair with somebody, partner with somebody, cross promote with somebody. There's so many other local makers in your area that are also wanting to do the exact same thing. You just have to reach out to them. And what a slow recap on what we covered and see if we got more coming in. Ask people to respond to my post today. It reached over 1,000. Yes, but you have to also be careful with that at times because, I don't know how it is on Instagram, so I can't speak to that. But I know sometimes Facebook will limit you if you are asking for clicks.
Yeah, they may penalize you for that. So you have to be careful, but
It's also
yeah,
go ahead and definitely show the screenshot sample in there.
I can show an example. Okay, what do you got? Let's see.
Perfect. And so we also then talked about how to get intermingled with influencers and things, right? Mm-hmm. By doing hashtags. You can also do check-ins on locations, leaving your 2 cents on other people's page to get more engagement. So doing that work, if you want to go one step further on that, you can then start tracking those hashtags that you're tracking. that you're following on a regular basis, and the influencers, to seeing if you're getting a return on your time. And then we have stories and connections and highlights. Terry, whenever you get a chance, I think you should drop the samples you're talking about definitely in the comments to try to help people with that, because maybe we're just not understanding it the way you're posting it. But definitely, if you're getting that amount of reach, it's something that could work for others for sure, for sure. And then our first one was the grid. Just so I guess we're at recap of
Look,
everything.
you know what's crazy? We're on time, like crazy on time.
I know.
I
We're
think we
getting
got
this.
to wear headphones next time. I think that's what it is.
Me?
Yeah, you. You.
I'm guilty.
You.
Okay.
Because I can't. I'm trying to figure it out. I can't fix it.
Oh, so that's what David was doing tonight, guys. Sorry, he's trying to figure out. We from the moment we signed in, it was giving us like little feisty. It was very sassy program
It
tonight.
was not. It was not. It was not cooperating very well. That's why I'm drinking now. Oh,
It happens
it
sometimes. It's
happens. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Um,
But I think I think honestly, this one was kind of. It may not seem like we actually went through a lot, but Instagram. I think most people, and you can let me know if you agree or not. I think for most people, Instagram was always the one thing that they couldn't just get. Like they couldn't understand it. Everyone I always see me is like, I can't figure out Instagram. Like they would try to grow their page so much and they just couldn't figure it out. So this is why it's kind of important knowing these little things, because it was always that kind of animal that it just would never work. Everyone would try these different things. So that's why we wanted to have one focus on Instagram, because I know I've had conversations with Sonia, I've had conversations with other people. They're just like, I can't. Like I have so many followers on Facebook, when on Instagram it just won't budge. So it's always been one of those ones that has been plaguing people. Oh, we have a cameo. We have a cameo happening right now.
Kitty cat camo. I forgot she was even in here. She's been so quiet. Normally she's all up in our business, you know.
But back, so yeah, this is why that's something that we want to cover, because Instagram has just naturally been harder, especially to there's a lot of people that have had like they've had like bots on there and have like a lot of fake followers.
Backwards, to be honest with you. I tried that in the beginning, and it took us a long time to get our account back connected to people, for real people, real people who wasn't just playing games and a robot bouncing back and forth. And that is one of the reasons why your followers change so often. It's not because people hate you, it's because they were probably robots.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And they do like they do like some like wipes every so often and kind of get rid of all those people from time to time. So it's just a natural thing. Like it's just gonna happen. But I promise you, if you do, oh, she just went for it. Oh, I'm throwing you. This deserves a single frame of just you and the cat. Go ahead. Do you think, cat? Say something.
She's ready to say something. She's like, let me outside. So Kathy Lynn here, maybe that's why she saw you, Kathy, on the comments. She's like, is that the lady from Tampa Bay's Best Dog Treats that does the kitty crack? Because it's been forever since I've had some kitty crack. It's a treat. It's like, so she, anyways. But Kathy makes dog treats and cat treats and all sorts of things.
I would like to note that your cat has now gotten more comments than anything.
rehash your stories, especially look at the one that was the most popular. Why wouldn't you want to use that again? At least as a TBT, you could do a TBT story if you wanted to, and that just gives you a couple ideas. Oh, we got no sound.
You're
That's
back.
okay.
You're back. You're back. You're back.
Sorry, guys. I was just kind of rehashing that Instagram is the place that you can show your personality. Take time building one story at a time. Start saving posts from others. Plan cross promotion between artists you can also do, and other businesses in the area. Elena has a new business that she's launching, and we're going to hear a little bit more on simply support local soon, hopefully. So she needs to, vets would probably be a great place for her, because hers is regarding animals. So, and you guys can post your questions, of course, in the comments. What do we want to hear about next week? Since the sound went out, we did go ahead and put a lot of our links of our information in the comments already, and we'll try to get on that now, especially with the screenshots and stuff, so you guys can take a look at that and what we have.
Yeah, and the best idea too is just to go in there and you know play around with it. See what's going on in there. See what it's like in there. Kind of just play with the platform as much as you can, because that's going to be the best way that you can understand it and see what's going on in there.
Haven't upgraded your page to a business page, and that can easily be done in the settings in Instagram. I'm also going to drop just the Instagram stories information that I went to, which is from the Instagram help site. So you cruise around on there while you're there and take a look at everything else that they can offer you guys too. We get it. I got the face.
Yep, I fix it. This thing is going crazy, dude. I don't know what's going on with Skype and this program, but they are not. They are in a lovers' quarrel right now. They are not wanting to communicate with each other.
So I'm going to drop those links for you guys in the comments, since we're having a little bit of technical difficulty at the end. And definitely ask the questions on what you want to hear for our 3 main topics next week. And then we have the bonus. But that's pretty much all I have on Instagram for now, until I do a little bit more research myself.
Yeah, and again, just really, I want everyone to try that strategy, even if you don't follow it to the T, that $1.80 strategy. Just start, at least at minimum, start finding these pages that are maybe similar to yours, or where you think followers would be, and start finding them and identifying them at first. Like, do a little bit of exploration. Then once you find that list, then go ahead and start doing your commenting and following, relevant hashtags and everything. So go a little bit of a research find, right? Do a little bit of homework, see what's in there. You don't have to start commenting yet, right? Because I know that's like, a lot of people kind of freeze out. They're like, oh, I don't know what to say. Just find those first. Start to scroll through, just peruse, right? Just peruse through the comments, see everything that's in there, and start to understand what people say, how they react to things, and then I'm telling you, naturally something will come up. But the first step is to really just start identifying those, so you can kind of plan, all right, these are kind of the hashtags, these are the pages that I want to attack. Go through that article, read it through, it explains it really well, and start implementing that. You have literally nothing to lose. It costs nothing. It's gonna take you 15, 20 minutes max to do, right? A day. I'm sure everyone could fit that in there, because I know there's 15 minutes of just scrolling right through just nonsense anyway. So that's how I look at it, even from doing this for so long, that I say, like, even when I can't even enjoy social media anymore, because it's always a research that I end up doing, or an investigation.
It's a learning experience,
yeah.
And I can't stop it.
I can't stop. I'm like, what? I just want to know how people function, and that's what happens. Even my own friends, I'm like, well, this got a lot of likes. It could be something that's great, and I'm like, well, why did it get a lot of likes? What is it? Is it the photo? Is it everything? I'm like, oh, I can't even enjoy my life anymore. It's just all analyzing. But you know what? It worked out great, because that's part of my business, so it helps, and that way it makes my life easier when I have to work with someone and do stuff like this. Then I already know, all right, oh, you're in this, all right, let me go investigate, let me go see what's working, what other people are doing, and you start to see the trend, and then you could use it for yourself.
Yes. So what we're gonna ask everybody. Ooh, is Gary Vee on Instagram? Yes,
He's
girl.
on everything.
He's on Instagram. He's doing I'm gonna share it. If I remember, I'm gonna share it tomorrow. So right now during the COVID lockdown, he's doing tea with Gary Vee, and that 2 hours Eastern time because he's from New York or he lives in New York. I think it's from 9:30 to 11:30 or 9 to 11 is when I always.
I think that's
I think
right.
so. I saw you watching it the other day, and I was watching. And I wanted to wave, but we were co-watching live, so we didn't know. But it tells on us, And it's just he covers everything. He talks a lot about engaging content and how to find out who your follower is. And that is one of the reasons why Dave went ahead and brought up the, $1.80, because that's how you know who your inner market competition follower and ... could be.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that rule, I mean, it's for Instagram, but it could still work on a Facebook or another platform. It's the same idea, right? It's what Sonia said before. It's about being social. So you could use that kind of idea on every platform. That one was just specifically made for Instagram because it takes into account the hashtags and everything in there. I mean, you could use it literally for anything. There's nothing wrong with being, vocal and commenting on stuff. Even on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, anything that you're on, it's so great to just engage and drop a little like on there.
Yes.
Yes, Kathy, that is the page. Yep, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure his lives are on Instagram too, but I kind of watch him more on Facebook. It's a little bit easier, it seems like, and you can see all of everybody else's comments.
Yeah.
Which is also really nice. You get to learn a lot. So
yeah, on Instagram and Instagram Live, I just it's great because if you're just holding it casually and it's like the dual screen, but on Facebook they have a really good setup there. So yeah, I prefer to watch it on there as well.
Yeah. So a couple challenges to the people we have left watching. What's one thing out of this that you can apply tomorrow or tonight if you're feeling really fired up because we're stinking awesome? And I'm going to take a look at all of your pages to see if I can see things changing. You're going to be seeing a lot of things changing on our Simply Events and Simply Support Local pages, different product highlights. So I'm like building another brand right now, Simply Support Local, that you guys can actually watch if you want to. You're going to be seeing story highlights grow. Right now I only have one. It doesn't even have a title, which is very unlike me. I'm just letting it progress as it does. All I know right now is the 3 topics I want to cover on my Simply Support Local Instagram. And then I'm trying to do that. So you can tune into there also and see it. And a lot of these vendors are covered on there. So that cross promotion is going to be in effect soon. Who wants to get on a video? Raise your hand.
Can I raise my hand?
Yep. We're starting our video soon, all you vendors. So we're excited to see you next week, hopefully, at some point.
Yep. Super exciting, guys. It's going to be awesome. I promise you. It's going to be so cool. It's going to be really good.
So leave what you want featured next week. Do we want to do this again next week, guys? Yes? Okay, we're going to say yes. We're going to go for it, and we're going to go based on what you would like us to cover by just leaving us some questions there in the comments.
Yep. Anything you guys want to talk about, we are game. We will keep doing this if you keep watching. So just schedule your Tuesday, Sonia, I guess. I don't know. I already told my wife.
Sometimes it's glorious and sunshines and rainbows and unicorns, and sometimes it's a train wreck.
That's part of the fun.
Yes.
It's part of the fun. Listen, sometimes I like a little bit of a challenge. So when things go awry live, I get a little thrill out of it. A little frustration, but a little thrill. It's fine. We'll make it work.
We could tell every time your face went like...
Yeah, I'm literally in the zone. That is me focusing. So if you didn't notice, I dropped just to you. And if I drop to Sonia on just her, just know there's 2 things happening. 1, something's going awry, and I'm trying to fix it. Or 2, I'm taking a big gulp of my drink, and I don't want to be just chugging in front of people. So those are the 2 options that I have. Today, it was more of the things were going awry, trying to fix it on the fly.
Awesome. Oh, Lori, I'm ready for TikTok. I'm actually have my first TikTok video planned with Drew tomorrow. We're going to try to start a dancing trend.
This is
Old
gonna
lady
be
TikTok's dancing trend, and it's planned for tomorrow. So, you guys, I'll make sure to tag you in it.
I did not know you were doing that, and I'm super excited about it.
Yes. Yeah.
Will it be Tiger? Will it be Tiger King themed?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think Drew wants to bring Sunshine back, which was a rooster that he dressed up at our back to school events that kids loved. So I'm just going to let it evolve from there. And at least we have a starting point plan. See, guys, what's your objective?
See? Just have a plan and stick with it. Just go. Execute.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you guys next Tuesday,
Next
7
Tuesday.
o'clock, 7 to 8. And we look forward to it. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you all, and we'll see you next week.